All right, welcome back, students. In this video, we're going to finish the Module 9, Lesson 3. This is Intro to Trigonometry. So we are on page 3 of 9.3. Just a second. Seem to have just started everything without grabbing anything. Okay, let's just do what we can. All right, so number 7 on the left. So this is the one I'm going to do. You guys, I'll leave the one on the right for you. I will go ahead and mark your angle. Let's see. So, all right, number 7, consider the figure. So we're going to find the sine of angle T. So angle T, pick the wrong side there. Okay. Angle T is your theta. Over here it's J, so it's up here. I'll just draw it. I mean, hopefully you guys don't need me to do that at this point, but it's okay if you do. That's what I'm here for. All right. So the sine, now we know. Let's just kind of scooch over a little. So, SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. That's sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So for sine, that's going to be the opposite over hypotenuse. All right, but let's go ahead and establish our sides here. All right, so you see angle T is on the left, on the right, excuse me. So your left, that's your opposite, so that's going to be over here. So let's see. Try to use this. Hold on. Just a second. Don't really charge your phone when the plug is on the floor. Okay, so opposite, so we know that's 27. All right, so hypotenuse, always directly across from the 90-degree angle. So this is your hypotenuse, that's 45. All right, so the sine, so you're just going to divide here. 27 divided by 45, 1 second, is 0.6. I think on the other side it had asked for fraction and decimal, so we're going to give it this. All right, so cosine. We'll do this. All right, so the cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Now, here we've already established where the opposite was. This is the hypotenuse. So this is our angle that is touching, this is our side that touches our angle that's not the hypotenuse. So this guy is adjacent. Sorry, my kids are arguing in the background, and I'm just about to go have a little talk with one of them. All right, so your adjacent here is 36. Our hypotenuse is still 45. So 36 divided by 45 is 0.8. Oops, and me and my 8s. All right, and the tangent finally. Let's go with this green again. So the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. So the opposite over the adjacent, that's 27 over 36. And we use the calculator. I will tell you that 9 goes into both of these. So it's 9 goes into 27 3 times. It goes into 36 4 times. So that's 3 over 4, which is 3/4 or 0.75. But just to make sure, because you guys know I've always told you I'm not perfect. But there you go. Okay, so you guys do this for the other side. We've already got SOHCAHTOA written here. So you're going to, determine which is your opposite, which is your adjacent, which is your hypotenuse, and then you're going to put those numbers accordingly for the sine, the cosine, and the tangent using SOHCAHTOA, and should be a lot of fun. Said nobody, but good luck, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, bottom of the page. Sorry for the turbulence. I'm not a qualified pilot. Finding missing sides using trigonometry. So we can use trig to find sides, and that's part one of this. So this is, confuse you guys even further. This will finish this lesson. We're going to show how to find the missing side. There's extra practice, or our practice is on McGraw-Hill. I believe this section starts with, actually, so the first 12 went with the first section, or 1 and 2. Then 13, I think, through 25 covers 9-3, so it covers this stuff. So you'll get some of this. And then 9-4 is going to be where we have the sides, and we're going to find the angle. So it'll be the inverse sine, cosine, and tangent. And I've talked about it in class, but we haven't talked about it, or this is the first time I'm talking about it on the video. So identify the angle. So in this case, whenever the 90-degree angle, it's 90 degrees, it's a right angle, and we really don't mess with it. So in this case, our angle, so your theta, I'm just going to put theta in front of that, is going to be a 30-degree angle. All right, so label your sides according to this angle. So this angle is on the right. So on the left is the opposite. All right, so across from the box, x is our hypotenuse. Let me just do that. Sorry. That's a little better. All right, so this side would be, it touches our angle. It's not the hypotenuse, so it is the adjacent. And it's also the only one left. So like I told you guys, if you can, opposite is easy. Hypotenuse is easy. It's the longest side. It's across from the box. If there's not a box, it's the longest side. It'll have the biggest number, or it'll just be the biggest side. You'll be able to tell. And then what's left is the adjacent. All right, so set up trigonometric ratio using two sides. So we have to use these two. So opposites out. There's nothing there for us to use. You're saying, well, there's nothing there. That's x. I know. We're going to find that. We're using the angle and the one side to find the second side. Adjacent and hypotenuse, that's going to be the ka of the SOHCAHTOA. Let me just write it over here again. So we're going to use cosine, because that involves the adjacent and the hypotenuse, and that's what we're looking for. So how would we do this? So this angle, so sine, no, not sine, cosine equals, thumb keeps bothering me. So it's adjacent over hypotenuse. So in this case, we know the angle, so cosine 30 equals, the adjacent is 25 over, we're looking for x. All right, now it says to solve it algebraically. Okay, well, we want x by itself. So the first thing, I'll just go ahead and write it over here. Cosine 30, equals 25 over x. We'll flip over to this guy. So we're going to multiply both sides by x. That gets that out of the way. So we bring this down. X times cosine 30 equals 25. Now we want x by itself. So let's scoop down a little. So divide both sides by the cosine 30. Again, this is all on paper. This is just telling us what buttons to press, because I want you guys to use calculator. Please, 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 and thank you, and please again. So, so these cancel here. So we're coming over here. So it's x equals 25 divided by cosine 30. And then I'm going to put the number, and then I'm going to do x equals down here. Over here in purple, this is what, so calculator. Calculator. This is why I don't teach English. So, and we're going to type it in, so it will be 25. Use the divided by button. Then you have to do the angle measure first. So it's 30, then the cosine button. And then at the end, you have to hit equals. Okay? So watch. So, and actually, we may not need this third one. So 25 divided by, so again, so 30 cosine, see, cosine, not done. That's the ratio. That's the cosine for that angle. All right, then let me scoot you up so you can see, and then we have to hit equals. All right, so we got 28.86. And we're going to round that to 28.9 and leave it at that. Okay, so just wanted you guys to see how we're using the calculator. So we're going to start writing this on the side because I want you guys very familiar with that calculator. I've been begging you guys to use it all year. Some of you have, some of you don't want to do that. We really need to, guys. That's what you're going to have during the test. You're not going to have your phone. Not that you're supposed to have it in class anyway, but that's another story. So anyway, all right, backside of 9.3. This is the fourth page, so that's why I split it into two videos. Even though we did this all in class, we didn't leave a lot of time for practice, so that's why we've worked that in with our testing we did today, and we'll work it in tomorrow after we finish the lesson. Okay, so backside, I'm going to do 9. You guys are going to do 10. And yeah, I'll do 9, you do 10, and I will show you number 11. I will note, so see, this is 30, 60, 90. This is actually a special right triangle. Now, you guys are going to work this. Don't let my X confuse you. You're looking for Y and Z, and that's what it tells you down here. But I'll write it on the inside. So when special right triangle, the 90, 60 part is X. Over here is X times square root 3, and then your excuse me, your hypotenuse is 2x. So z is very easy. It's 2 times 7. I mean, and y is easy because you're going to multiply 7 by square root 3. I'm going to quit pointing and help you guys that are listening. Now you can do it that way, and if you can, I'll give you bonus points if you do it both ways. But do it that way. The other way, you're going to use the you're going to do it like I'm doing here. You're going to use sine, cosine, or tangent with one of these angles. Since you're looking for both of these, I would say if you start here, this is opposite. Again, you have to be listening, and that's the hypotenuse. So you might say sine 30, for example. Anyway, I'll quit talking about that one, and let's do the one we got on the left. Consider the figure. So we have an x and a y. We can't find those together. And of course it says set up x, set up y. We may have to zoom out just a little bit more than I usually do. Okay, so trigonometric equations set up to solve for x. So here's our angle. I'm just going to circle it in red. But it's down here, bottom left. So top right, this is the opposite. Oops. This is across from the 90-degree angle, so this is your hypotenuse, and that leaves this other guy your adjacent, and it's adjacent because it's touching my angle and it's not the hypotenuse. So x is adjacent. So let's SOHCAHTOA. All right, so adjacent. To do tangent, we would need the opposite. We can't find x and y. We have to have one. We have to have the angle measure and one side. So we're using this and this to find first this and then that. So adjacent hypotenuse, that's cosine. So cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So cosine 18, cosine 18 equals adjacent, which is x, over the hypotenuse, which is 25. All right, so we want to get this, we want to solve for x. So multiply both sides by 25. 25. Okay. 25. So these cancel. I'm just going to switch because that's not working. So you're ended up with x, because these canceled, equals 25 cosine 18. And the way, and so I'm going to put x equals right here and circle it now. So calculator. So stupid thing. Before I do the next video, I swear I'm going to find a pen. I don't know where mine went. Pencil. You know, I'm used to you guys at school doing that. Well, I should be used to it more here. My kids are way bigger thieves than you guys. You guys are usually really good about asking about borrowing pencils and stuff. So I apologize. I was just playing. Okay, so calculator. So 25. And don't get this x confused. This is, that x is that x, okay? So 25 times, now you're going to do 18 first because you need that. Then you're going to hit the cosine button. Then you're going to hit the equals button. So again, so we hit 25, we hit times, so 18 cosine, scooch up, equals, all right, so 23.77. We're going to round that up to 23.8. Okay, and does the answer make sense? Well, if our hypotenuse is 25, you know, that's the longest side, so it has to be less than that, so I think we're good. So setting up for y, that's the opposite. We have the hypotenuse. We're going to use sine. It's going to be sine 18 equals y over 25, so it's similar to that. We're just using sine instead of cosine because we're looking at the adjacent. The opposite instead of the adjacent. So I'm going to scoop this up just a little. So we got sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 18 equals y over 25. So same thing as before. 25 cancels out. Y equals 25 sine 18. Now, calculator. It's going to be 25 times 18. Hopefully you guys are starting to get the hang of this. Sine and then equals. So 25 times 18 sine equals 7.72. We don't round that up, so it'll be 7.7. So y equals 7.7. That's your short side. And this guy is 23.8. So you guys, like I said, use trigonometric ratios, but you can also use a special right triangle and see that it works both ways. If you want to see that, then send me a message in Focus or Teams or leave me a comment, and I will do a separate video on that problem to show you how it works both ways. But I want you guys to work on it first. Okay, bottom of the page. This will finish off this particular lesson. All right, draw a diagram following the word problem and solve. You guys know I'm not great at drawing, but we're going to go for it anyway. All right, so an electrician leans an extension ladder against an outside wall of a house so it reaches an electric box 26 feet up. Okay, so this is the ground. Here's the house. So the ladder is going to be green. I know if the house is built correctly, there should be a 90-degree angle between the house and the ground. Not always the case, but we're going to assume that that's the case. So the ladder is our hypotenuse. So we'll put ladder. But let's also say, so ladder equals hypotenuse. All right. House over here is 26 feet up, so I'm just going to put the 26 there. The ladder makes an angle of 64 feet with the ground. So, I'm sorry, 64 degrees. Find the length of the ladder. So, this is our angle. So, this is our little theta. So, the house is the opposite. The ladder is the hypotenuse. So, with SOHCAHTOA, that should tell me that I have the opposite. I need the hypotenuse. I'm going to use sine. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Well, we know the angle is 64 degrees. So sine 64 equals opposite 26 over the ladder. Since we don't know, and math teachers are always looking for them, we'll call it x. All right, so get rid of the x. We're going to multiply, or get rid of the fraction. We're going to multiply both sides by x. This cancels. X times sine 64 equals 26. We still want x alone, so we're going to divide both sides by sine 64. These cancel. So coming up here, x equals 26 divided by sine 64. So I'm going to write x equals, and I'm going to circle this. And under here, we're going to write the word calculator. And we're going to write, so it's just like it's up there. So it's going to be 26, the divided by button, 64, because the number comes first, then the sign button, then the equals button. So let's just watch and see. So 26 divided by 64 sine equals, all right, so 28.9. So x equals 28.9 feet. That's how long the ladder is extended to reach the box at 26 feet height. All right, so that's it for this lesson. Next video we will cover how to find the missing angle when you have the sides using the inverse of sine, cosine, and tangent. It's actually really easy. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please like and subscribe. Send me a comment or a message on Teams or Focus if you have any questions. Have a good day.